I thought I was special to her. I thought I was the only one. I gave her my heart and my savings, $75,000 gone, and the worst part? She looked me in the eye the night before and told me she loved me. Pattaya can make a man feel 20 years younger, but it can also make him feel like the biggest fool alive. This is my story. My name is Harold Whitman. I'm 67 years old, retired postal worker from Ohio, and I need to tell someone what happened before I lose my mind completely. I stepped off that plane in Bangkok feeling like a different person already. The heat hit me first, then the chaos, then the smells. Everything I'd left behind in Ohio felt like a gray memory. My pension wasn't much, but in Thailand it could stretch. I'd done my research. Pattaya was supposed to be affordable, warm, full of life. What I didn't research was how lonely I really was. I wasn't planning to share this tonight, but then I opened an email from a longtime viewer of this channel. He said he'd been listening for months, quietly, never commenting, just taking it all in. And then, finally, he decided to write. His words weren't polished, but they hit me like a punch to the chest. At first, I felt a strange shock, that jolt you get when you realize another man has walked the same road you thought only you had stumbled down. Then came a kind of grief, not just for him, but for myself, for every dollar and every dream I let slip away. And finally, there was this bittersweet warmth, because his courage to share reminded me why I sit down here late at night to speak into this camera. So, to him, thank you. And to all of you watching right now, wherever in the world you're tuning in from, I want to thank you too. Please, leave a comment and let me know where you're listening from. And if you've been with me for a while, if you've kept coming back story after story, I want to give you a super thank you. You don't know how much it means to me. Please like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and join the conversation. Because tonight, I need to let it all out. Let me take you back to where it all started. You want taxi, sir? The driver swarmed me, but I had my plan. Bus to Pattaya, cheap guest house, figure out the rest later. The 2-hour ride gave me time to think about why I was really here. 15 years since the divorce. Kids who called on Christmas if I was lucky. Retirement that felt more like waiting to die. I'd saved for this trip for 3 years, telling myself it was just a vacation. But deep down I knew I was running towards something I couldn't name. Walking Beach Road that first night, the neon lights painted everything electric. Music poured from every doorway. Girls called out in broken English, "Hello handsome, where you go?" I felt invisible back home, but here strangers smiled at me. I ducked into a quiet bar called Lucky Star, ordered a beer, tried to look like I knew what I was doing. That's when she appeared. "You look lonely," she said, sliding onto the stool beside me. "I sit with you?" She wasn't pushy like the others. Soft voice, genuine smile. "My name Knock," she said. "What your name?" When I told her Harold, she repeated it slowly, like she was memorizing something precious. "Harold. Nice name. You here alone?" I nodded, buying her a drink when she asked. Lady drink, they called it. Expensive, but she seemed worth it. "I don't like drink too much," she said. "But I like talk with you. You have kind eyes." We talked for 2 hours. She asked about America, my work, my family. When I mentioned I was divorced, she touched my arm gently. "That make you sad?" I found myself telling her things I hadn't told anyone. How quiet my house was. How my kids had their own lives. How retirement felt like being forgotten. "You not forgotten now," she said. "I remember you." Something in her voice made me believe her. When I paid the bill and left, she walked me to the street. "You come back tomorrow?" she asked. "I hope you come back." Walking to my guest house, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Wanted, noticed, special. I told myself she was different from the other girls. The way she listened, the way she remembered details. She hadn't asked for money, hadn't pushed for anything. She just seemed to like talking to me. Maybe this trip could be more than I'd planned. Maybe Pattaya held something I didn't even know I was looking for. That night I fell asleep thinking about her smile, about how she said my name like it mattered. I went back the next night, telling myself I was just being friendly. But my heart was racing when I walked through that door. "Harold," Knock called out, waving me over like we were old friends. "You come back. I so happy." She remembered I liked Leo beer, had one ready before I even sat down. "How was your day? You go beach? You eat good Thai food?" The questions felt real, not scripted like the other girls I'd noticed. She genuinely seemed to care about my answers. I work in bar because I need money, she told me that second night. But I don't like this work. I want simple life. Maybe have small business someday. Beauty salon or something. When she talked about her dreams, her eyes lit up. She wasn't performing anymore. This was real. You ever want different life, Harold? She asked. I found myself nodding. Every day since my wife left, I admitted. Felt like my real life ended when she took half of everything and disappeared. The third night I was there before she even started work. You early tonight. She laughed. Miss me already? I did miss her, more than I wanted to admit. When other customers tried to buy her drinks, she politely declined. I already have customer, she'd say, pointing to me. That made me feel 10 feet tall. Here was this beautiful young woman choosing my company over everyone else's. Harold, you different, she told me. Other men, they just want one thing. You treat me like person, like I have heart. After a week, I started paying her bar fine so she could leave early. 2,000 baht to the bar, and she was mine for the evening. We'd walk along the beach, eat street food, talk about our lives. She told me about growing up poor in Isan province, sending money to her family, dreaming of something better. You make me feel safe, she said one night as we sat on the sand watching the waves. When I with you, I forget all the bad things. I wanted to protect her from those bad things. I wanted to be her knight in shining armor. I tell you secret, she whispered one evening. I never feel like this before. With you, I feel like maybe I can have real love, not just business. She took my hand, her fingers soft and warm. You think maybe we can have future together? I know, I just bar girl, but I have good heart. I can love you true. My chest tightened. After 15 years of loneliness, someone wanted to build a life with me. Someone young and beautiful and full of dreams. I'd like that, I told her. I'd like that very much. That night she kissed me goodnight, and I felt like I was 25 again. This was it. This was my second chance at happiness. I need to tell you why her promises meant everything to me. My ex-wife Linda had been gone 15 years, but the words still echoed. You're boring, Harold. You never want anything more than your routine. She was right, I suppose. Post office job for 30 years, same route, same customers, same complaints. When she left, she took the house, the car, half my savings. Find yourself, she said. Figure out who you are without me. I thought I had. Turned out I was just empty. My kids, Jennifer and Mark, they tried it first. Sunday calls, holiday visits, but they had their own families, their own problems. I was just the sad dad who couldn't keep his wife happy. Gradually, the calls got shorter, the visits less frequent. By the time I retired, I was lucky to hear from them on birthdays. The house felt like a museum of my failed life. Every room reminded me of what I'd lost, what I'd never been able to hold on to. You not alone now, Nock whispered as we lay in her small apartment one night. I take care of you. I make you happy. Her English wasn't perfect, but her meaning was clear. She needed me as much as I needed her. Harold, you so good to me, she continued. You make me feel like princess. I never want hurt you. I believed every word. How could I not? When someone young and beautiful tells you they need you, it rewrites everything you thought you knew about yourself. My apartment too small for us, she said a few days later. Landlord want more money also. Maybe I find better place? I offered to help with the deposit. $500 seemed reasonable for our future. You sure? She asked. I pay you back when I can. I told her not to worry about it. What was money compared to love? She threw her arms around me. Harold, you so generous. I so lucky find you. Generous. When was the last time anyone had called me generous? The new place was nicer, closer to the beach. I helped her move her few belongings, bought groceries to fill the empty refrigerator. She cooked for me that first night, Thai food that burned my tongue but warmed my heart. This our home now, she said, curled up beside me on the couch. You and me together. I felt useful again, needed again, important. I take care you forever. She promised. You never be lonely again. I held her tight, afraid to let go, afraid this dream might disappear if I didn't hold on tight enough. This was what I'd been searching for without knowing it. Someone who needed me to be their hero. Her phone started buzzing more at night. Quick calls in Thai she'd taken the bathroom, explaining they were just friends from work. Thai people call late, she'd say with a shrug. Different culture, Harold. You understand. I wanted to understand. I wanted to trust her completely. But something felt different after the first month. She'd check her messages while we ate dinner, apologize quickly, put the phone away. Sorry, just work problem. I told myself it was normal. She had a life before me. Then she got the call that changed everything. 3 a.m, her phone rang like an alarm. She answered in rapid Thai, her voice getting more upset with each word. I watched her face crumple. What's wrong? I asked. She hung up, tears streaming. My mama's sick, she sobbed. Hospital say she need operation. I have to go Isan tomorrow. My heart broke for her. Family was everything to her. She'd told me that from the beginning. What can I do? I asked. How can I help? Maybe you can help little bit money? She asked, wiping her eyes. Hospital want payment first. I have some money, but not enough. She showed me a number written on paper. 50,000 baht, about $1,500. My first thought was relief. I had that much. I could solve this problem, be her hero again. Of course, I said immediately. Whatever your mother needs. Her tears turned to grateful kisses. Harold, you saved my family. I never forget this. Never. I went to the ATM that morning and withdrew the cash. Watching her count the bills, I felt proud. This was what real love looked like, supporting each other in crisis. She promised to call every day, to come back as soon as her mother was stable. 2 weeks maximum, she said. Then I come back to you. She clung to me at the bus station. You wait for me? She asked. Of course I'll wait. I promised. I love you. The words came out without planning. She looked surprised, then smiled. I love you too, Harold, so much. The first week she called daily, updating me on her mother's condition, telling me she missed me. But during the second week, the calls got shorter, less frequent. When I tried calling her, it went straight to voicemail. Network bad in village, she texted. Miss you so much. I missed her too, more than I'd expected. The apartment felt empty without her laughter, her cooking, her presence beside me in bed. I counted the days until she'd return, planning the dinner I'd cook for her, the gifts I'd bought. Love makes you stupid with hope. I know that now. But at the time, I was just a man who'd found his reason to be alive again. When Nok returned from Isan, she seemed different. More tired, more grateful, more determined. Harold, you saved my mama life, she said, holding me tight at the bus station. Doctors say operation successful because we pay fast. You, my hero. Her gratitude felt genuine, complete. I'd never been anyone's hero before. It felt better than any drug. She continued. Real life, not just bar life. That's when she told me about the beauty salon idea again, but this time with specifics. My friend Mally, she have salon in Bangkok. Make good money. She teach me everything about business. Nok's eyes sparkled as she described her dream. Manicures, pedicures, hairstyling for Western women, and wealthy Thais. I good with hands, good with people. I know I can do this business. She showed me pictures on her phone. Other salons, price lists, potential locations. She'd done her research during those 2 weeks away. This wasn't just fantasy anymore. This was a real plan. But need money to start, she said carefully. Maybe $15,000 for everything. Equipment, deposit, license. I did the math in my head. 15,000 was a big chunk of my savings, but not impossible. My retirement account had grown over the years, and what was the point of money if I didn't have anyone to spend it on? You really think this could work? I asked. She nodded eagerly. Harold, in America this business make much more money. Here in Thailand, still good profit. We can live good life from this. We. She said we. That's what convinced me. This wasn't just her dream anymore. This was our future together. I have one problem though, she said, her face growing serious. Thai law say foreign man cannot own business like this. But if we marry someday, maybe different. For now, everything must be in my name only. That should have been a red flag. But she was looking at me with such hope, such trust. She was giving me her future to hold. How could I let her down? If you help me start this business, I promise you everything, she said. My heart, my life, my future. We be together forever. Forever. That's what I wanted to hear. I transferred $20,000 to her Thai bank account the next day. More than she asked for, but I wanted to make sure she had everything she needed. Her face when she saw the account balance was pure joy. Harold, you make my dream come true, she cried, kissing me over and over. I worked so hard to make this successful. You see, we be so happy together. We spent that evening making plans, looking at equipment catalogs, discussing locations. I felt like I was investing in our marriage, our future children, our retirement together. I was building something that would last. At 67 years old, I was finally building something that would last. The salon preparations consumed Knox days. Equipment deliveries, permit applications, staff interviews. She was always rushing somewhere, always on her phone with suppliers or officials. Sorry, Harold, she'd say, kissing my cheek as she grabbed her purse. Business very busy today. I come back tonight. I was proud of her drive, her determination. This was what success looked like. But I started feeling like I was watching her life instead of living it with her. You want to come with me today? I'd ask. She'd shake her head apologetically. Better you stay home, relax. Thai business very boring for farang. Many meetings, many paperwork. You enjoy beach instead. So I spent my days alone, walking Beach Road, eating lunch by myself, waiting for her to return. When she came home exhausted, we'd eat dinner in relative silence. She'd scroll through her phone, responding to messages. Just business, she'd explain when she caught me watching. Always problems to solve. The salon opened on a Tuesday with no ceremony. I bought flowers to congratulate her, but she was too busy with customers to properly celebrate. Maybe we have party next week, she promised, when everything more smooth. But next week came and went with the same excuse. She left early every morning, returned late every evening. Our conversations became logistical. Did I pay the electric bill? Could I pick up groceries? Did I remember to pay the rent? I felt like a roommate, not a partner. Business very good. She'd tell me when I asked how things were going. Many customers already. Soon we make good profit. But when I offered to visit, to see my investment in action, she found reasons to postpone. Next week, better. This week, too crazy with new employees. Or, need to fix air conditioning first. Too hot for you to visit now. I respected her expertise, her need to establish the business professionally, but a part of me wondered why she didn't want to share this victory with me. One evening she came home later than usual, her hair styled differently, makeup fresh. Long day at salon, she explained, heading straight for the shower. But she smelled like perfume, not the chemical odors I'd expect from a beauty business. Mally, teach me new hairstyle today, she said when I commented on her appearance. I practice on myself. It made sense, but something felt off. The distance between us was growing, and I didn't know how to bridge it. When I tried to hold her that night, she claimed she was too tired. Tomorrow, she promised. But tomorrow became next week, and next week became the new normal. I was living with a stranger who happened to share my bed. I ran into Tom at the 7-Eleven, an Australian expat I'd met at a bar weeks earlier. Nice guy, been living in Pattaya for 5 years. Harold, mate, good to see you, he said, grabbing a beer from the cooler. How's your lady friend? The pretty one from Lucky Star? I told him about the salon, how busy Knock had been. He nodded knowingly. Yeah, those businesses keep them running. Saw her last week, actually, at the Marriott bar with some German fellow. Thought it might be a supplier or something. My blood went cold. The Marriott was expensive, not the kind of place you'd meet suppliers. German fellow? I asked, trying to keep my voice casual. Tom shrugged. Older guy, well-dressed. They seemed pretty cozy, actually. But hey, business is business, right? He clapped me on the shoulder and left, but his words echoed in my head. Pretty cozy. What did that mean exactly? I told myself it was nothing. Knock was building a network, meeting potential investors. That's how business worked in Thailand. But doubt had been planted, and doubt grows fast in fertile ground. I couldn't let it go. That evening when she came home, I asked casually about her day. Same, she said, collapsing on the couch. Many customers, very tired. I mentioned seeing Tom, how he'd said hello. You know Tom? I asked. She shook her head. I don't think so. Australian man? I nodded, watching her face carefully. He said he saw you at the Marriott last week, with a German man. Her expression didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes. Oh yes, she said after a pause. Business meeting. German company maybe want to invest in more salons. Very boring meeting. But that night she was different. More attentive, more affectionate than she'd been in weeks. She cooked my favorite pad thai, massaged my shoulders, initiated intimacy for the first time in a month. Harold, you my number one, she whispered as we made love. Only you, in my heart. You know that, right? I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. When someone's your whole world, you'll ignore any evidence that threatens that world. I know. I whispered back, I love you too. But lying there afterward, listening to her breathe beside me, I couldn't shake the feeling that she was performing, that everything beautiful between us had become a carefully orchestrated show. The next morning she was gone before I woke up, leaving only a note about early supplier meetings. I sat in our empty apartment drinking coffee that tasted like regret, wondering when I'd become someone who needed to be lied to. When had love become so complicated? When had trust become so fragile? I thought about calling Tom, asking for more details about what he'd seen. But what would that accomplish? If Nock was lying, confirmation would destroy me. If she was telling the truth, my suspicion would destroy us. Either way, I'd lose the only good thing left in my life. So I chose to believe her. I chose to trust. Because the alternative was returning to the loneliness I'd escaped, and that felt worse than any betrayal. Harold, I have opportunity. Nock announced one morning over breakfast, her voice bright with excitement. German investor want to partner with me. He offered to fund 3 more salons if I can show I have committed Thai partner. She showed me professional-looking documents, business plans, profit projections. Everything looked legitimate, official. But I need to prove I have substantial investment already. Show him I'm serious businesswoman. My heart started racing. I knew what was coming. How much would you need to prove that? I asked. $50,000, she said, watching my reaction carefully. I know it sound like much money, but think about future Harold. 4 salons making profit. We be rich together. $50,000. Nearly everything I had left in my retirement account. My safety net, my insurance against disaster. But looking at her hopeful face, her dreams spread out in documents across our breakfast table, how could I say no? This German man, he's legitimate? I asked. She nodded eagerly. Very successful businessman. He have salons in Germany, Singapore, now want to expand Thailand market. I spent 3 sleepless nights thinking about it. 50,000 was everything. If this failed, I'd have nothing left but my monthly pension. But if it succeeded, we'd be set for life. We could marry, buy a house, maybe even help her family permanently. You don't have to decide right now, she said, rubbing my shoulders as I stared at bank statements. But opportunity not wait forever. German man, he have other options also. The pressure was gentle but constant. This was our chance for the life we'd dreamed about. Okay, I finally said, let's do it. Let's build our future together. The transfer took 2 days to process. $50,000 moved from Harold Whitman's account to Nock Suthida's business account. When the confirmation came through, she cried with joy. Harold, you make me happiest woman in Thailand, she sobbed, covering my face with kisses. I promise you, we be together forever. I worked so hard to make this successful. You never regret this decision. Never. That night she made love to me like it was our honeymoon, whispering promises in Thai and English. You my husband now, she said. In my heart, we already married. For 3 days everything felt perfect. She was home for dinner, attentive and loving. We made plans for our wedding, discussed which salon I might help manage, talked about visiting her family in Izon together. Next month, we go see my mama, she promised. She's so happy to meet man who saved her life. I felt proud, successful, important. I'd bet everything on love and won. But on the fourth morning, I woke up alone. Her side of the bed was cold, her clothes gone from the closet. The note on the kitchen table was brief. Have to go Bangkok for business meetings. Back in few days. Love you. But her toothbrush was gone. Her favorite necklace, the one she never traveled without, was gone. And somehow, deep in my gut, I knew she was gone too. Her phone went straight to voicemail. The salon was closed, metal shutters pulled down, no note for customers. I waited 3 days before going to Lucky Star Bar, where I'd first met her. Mai, one of the other girls, looked uncomfortable when I asked about Knock. She not come work this week, Mai said, avoiding my eyes. Maybe she's sick. But when I pressed harder, the truth came out. Harold. I sorry. Knock, she go already. With farang man, German man. They go Phuket together. My legs felt weak. I sat down heavily on the bar stool where this had all started. How long? I asked. How long has she been seeing him? Long time, Mai admitted quietly. Before she meet you. She have many boyfriend, Harold. She good girl. But she need money for family, for future. You understand? I understood nothing. She said she loved me. I whispered, more to myself than to Mai. Mai's face softened with pity. Maybe she did love you little bit. But love and money, for girl like Knock, they same. She needs security, Harold. You give her good life, but German man, he give her better life. Better life. I'd given her everything I had, and it wasn't enough. I spent the next week in my apartment, afraid to go out, afraid to check my bank balance, afraid to face reality. When I finally forced myself to look, the business account was empty. $75,000 gone. My life savings, my retirement security, my future, all transferred into the dreams of a woman who disappeared without a goodbye. I called the bank, but everything had been legal. She had the account access I'd authorized. She had every right to withdraw the money for business purposes. The German investor, if he'd ever existed, was a ghost. The business partnership was fiction. I'd funded my own betrayal. Sitting in this cheap guest house now, surviving on my small pension, I replay every conversation looking for clues I missed. They were all there. The phone calls she took in private. The business meetings she couldn't discuss. The way she'd pull me back with affection whenever I asked too many questions. She was a professional, and I was a mark. A lonely old man with money and a desperate need to be loved. Harold, you different, she'd said that first night. She was right. I was different. I was easier. I believed every word because I needed every word to be true. I'm not angry at her anymore. Anger requires energy I don't have. Noxuthita played a game she'd learned from necessity, and she played it perfectly. She gave me months of feeling important, needed, loved. In her own way, maybe she did care about me. But caring and commitment are different things. Love and survival are different things. I understand that now. I was never her future. I was her escape plan. And when a better escape plan appeared, she took it. Smart girl. I hope the German treats her well. I hope she gets the security she was looking for. I hope she sometimes remembers the postal worker from Ohio who loved her enough to give her everything, even if everything wasn't enough to make her stay.